What is up, guys? Wanted to make a quick video here of a post-op. As you can see, I got this crazy looking hat on my head. It kind of reminds me of those fast food hats that some of those places have, like Good Burger, or one of those hibachi Japanese Asian restaurant sushi places, right? Or it can be badass looking, what do you call it, like one of those pirate things they put over heads. I'll go with the latter. I think that's way more badass. But anyways, so they gave me this hat after I walked out. I guess I don't think it's really necessary to wear it, but I guess it just doesn't look. You don't look as crazy out in public. Exposing the procedure that was just done. So, wanted to do a quick recap on the entire procedure here. It was very straightforward, okay? I've done all sorts of research and stuff online, so, I basically knew what to expect as far as the actual procedure, right? So, as I mentioned before, I went to the Neopel clinic in Tijuana, and I've actually gotten to know Tijuana a little bit better as well after being here for, well, this is my second day technically, but I've definitely gotten to know it a lot better. Last night I was staying at the Hyatt. They had a shuttle service that picked me up and took me directly to Neopel. And from there, it was just a matter of, signing some paperwork, signing some stuff, and really having the in-person consultation with Dr. Hernandez. Obviously she cuts the hair for you so that they can actually see what they're working with. They'll kind of draw out the hairline that you're looking for. Okay. It's kind of up to you what kind of hairline you wanted, but I kind of told her, hey, I want to stick with something that was, natural to what my hairline was, right? Now, obviously, having done so many procedures, they're also able to give advice and, consultation on what a natural line would look like, right? So it's not always straight and symmetrical. It rarely ever is. So they kind of build in kind of this zigzag shape into the actual line, right? And it looks kind of weird out of the procedure, but after your hair starts growing, it looks way more natural. Okay. I kind of went with a kind of like a V-ish shape because that's kind of how my hairline has always been throughout my life. As far as the height of where the hairline was, I think it was a little bit higher than what I was expecting it to be, but then again, the hair hasn't started growing yet, and obviously you look very different when you have short hair and your hairline's exposed versus you actually have hair kind of like dangling off or doing whatever with your hair, right? So there's that. But yeah, as far as the actual process of going there, it's very easy. I think one of the biggest objectives a lot of people have when it comes to doing non-U.S. Clinic is they're afraid people there don't speak English, and that's not at all an issue. They do have a few technicians that are not fluent in English. Sorry. Apparently, I'm not fluent in English either. But majority of the staff members, the doctor, everyone else, they all speak fluent English, so it's not really an issue. But yeah, got my paperwork done. Met up with Dr. Hernandez, and we basically hopped right into it. She took some pictures, kind of for before and after comparison. Obviously, she did the before pictures before the procedure. So going in, they give you all sorts of shots, penicillin. I couldn't name them all, but I felt like I was Darth Vader being operated on at some point. But there was like an IV sticking out of my arm and everything. It was crazy. well, maybe it's not that crazy. I just don't really go to the doctors that often, nor have I had, procedures. So maybe that's just normal. But anyways, yeah, I mean the place is, it's clean. It's a clinic, what you'd expect. Um, we did the procedure in a smaller room. There was actually two parts to the procedure. Yeah, the first part is harvesting the grafts from the back of your head, the back and the sides. Um, I can't remember the gentleman that did it for me. To be honest, I'm not sure if he was a doctor, if he was a technician, but he was the guy that extracted the follicles. And he did mention that my grafts were really good. They're really dense. So that's a good thing. Yeah. Afterwards, that took maybe, I don't know if it took 2 or 3 hours. At the same time I was listening to a podcast. God, I can't remember how long the podcast actually was. I think the podcast was about an hour, and I want to say it ended a little bit before they were done harvesting. So the harvesting part was a little over 2 hours. As far as number of grafts, I can't remember what they told me. That's actually really embarrassing. I know Dr. Hernandez told me I was getting 2,000 hair follicles, so individual hairs, but as far as actual grafts, I'm not too sure on. The gentleman that did my extracting, he said majority of my grafts were very dense, so like 3 to 4. I can't remember if he said 2 or 3 or 3 or 4, but let's just assume 3. Right, so I mean a little over 1,000 grafts in that case, right? Somewhere between 1,500. Estimating that much just based on what he told me. Anyways, so after the extraction, they were kind enough to bring me a big ass carne asada lunch. I swear it was like a day's worth of food, but I definitely killed it. So one thing I did not mention was they want you to come fasted, right? So you're doing this procedure with an empty stomach, fasted, and I didn't have a problem with that. I practice intermittent fasting pretty frequently. I kind of switch on and off, just kind of switch up my diet, but I fast pretty easily, pain free, so it wasn't hard for me. I think they do that for the shots and stuff they give you, right? The inflammation, antibiotics, and whatever they put into an IV into my body, whatever it was. Yeah, I'm assuming that's what it was for because I ate after the extraction process, and and I'll post up a picture of the lunch. It was really banging. It was banging for sure. I'm estimating it was around 1,000 calories ish. I like to keep track of my intake, but when it comes to like a homemade meal or like places that obscure restaurants or like little small restaurants where it may not be documented of its nutrition information, I kind of had to wing it. So I'm kind of guessing about 1,000 calories. Yeah, it was badass. I'll post up a picture, but I mean, there's a shit ton of steak, carne asada. It was some salsa sauce. It was pretty good. It came with some spicy ass pepper. I learned the hard way. A big thing of guac. Like mashed beans. The steak itself, bunch of different tortillas. They're all sorts of sizes. They had kind of the smaller sizes, like a CD shape, and they had kind of the larger ones also. I think those were meant for burritos. But yeah, I mean, I ate it all. It came with cucumbers as well to get some veggies in. So thank God. So after that, we had the actual implanting of the grafts. Dr. Hernandez personally does that. I've read some online reviews for some people, and they mentioned for them, Dr. Hernandez started it off, but then let her technicians take over. I'm assuming those might be for larger jobs where they're like covering the whole thing, like the whole middle part. I'm assuming Dr. Hernandez builds the actual hairline, and the rest is like filling in that the technicians can handle. I'm not saying like they're any less of a someone doing it, but yeah, I mean just something to take to account. Yeah, they all seemed pretty skilled at it. But yeah, I mean, I would say overall it was painless, except for the local anesthesia. That was the most painful part. I mean, there were periods where I can sort of feel them doing it. Right, I'd tell them, hey, I can feel a prick. It wasn't painful. I can just feel the prick, right? So yeah, I mean that's a matter of just applying the local anesthesia just uniformly. I guess it's kind of hard to determine areas in your head. I don't know. Yeah, so the actual implanting of the grafts was not painful because of the local anesthesia. However, this really weirded me out, but as Dr. Hernandez implanted each graft, you can hear a sound. It's almost like it's like a crunching sound, right? To me, it sounded like a crunching sound, but that's literally the sound of the graft going through my skin. And I was just really tense from that. Like I would tense up, and then I would remind myself to relax. And then when she starts implanting again, I'd slowly tense up until I realize I'm like super tense, and I tell myself relax. I'd be like, ah. It was just this back and forth of me tensing up and relaxing throughout the whole procedure. I kind of made it into a game. I was like, hey, if I can practice the mental tenacity of staying relaxed this whole time despite this tiny ass needle going through my skin, it's like the ultimate what do you call it, like presence challenge, right? Like the ultimate meditation presence challenge. And clearly I failed. I just wasn't able to stay relaxed the whole time. That sound was just, I mean, I think that's normal. I mean, it's our human reaction to be alert for things that are a threat to us physically. And I would say a tiny little needle being held by another person going to your head would traditionally be a threat, okay? So modern medical technology is kind of like an artificial thing, but out in the natural world, out in the wild, when we were cavemen, hunter-gatherers, a sharp object near your head was a threat. So I give myself props for just, sort of trying. But yeah, again, that sound, it gives me the heebie-jeebies right now just thinking about it. I mean, I don't think the doctors can hear it, but you as the person, it's like, as the needle goes in, it creates, like this micro vibration through your body, and you hear it, right? It's kind of like when you plug your ears, you can, like if you swallow, you can hear yourself swallow, right? Or like, you can like pound your chest and like you can hear it throughout your body because the sound just vibrates through your body, right? But yeah, anyways, that sound is such a weird sound. It's almost like a crunch. It really freaked me out. I shared that with Dr. Hernandez. She says every patient says the exact same thing. So to be honest, I don't want to go through that again, like ever. Oh my goodness. But I think I will have to in the future, possibly late 30s, 40, when the rest of my hair starts falling out. Let me try to think what else. Yeah, I mean, so that took maybe 2 hours, I'd say. I tracked it by listening to a podcast. It was very hard to pay attention to the podcast when there's multiple needles going through your head. It's, yeah. I mostly just used it for time tracking, I guess. And to be honest, the podcast was kind of dry. It was Tony Robbins' podcast with his wife Sage, with like some other dude, probably some Indian meditation guy, and the conversation was just really dry. It's about, like presence loving yourself, accepting yourself, the story you tell, the typical, self-help type stuff. Uh, anyways, yeah, afterwards, it was easy peasy. Got a sense of relief after we were done. I got injected through the IV with more drugs right afterwards. It was a really weird sensation because I can feel the fluids going through my hand. The IV was like right here, the port. I don't know if that's the proper name, but it was like a port to me. They can just plug something in and inject fluid into my body, and I can feel it like around my arm. It was I couldn't tell if it was like a cooling sensation or a warming sensation, but it was sort of numbing at the same time, just like locally in this area. I asked Dr. Hernandez what it was. She told me it was a painkiller. So yeah, I was a little bit lightheaded, a little bit woozy. Not just after the implants, but right after the extraction of my of the follicles, of the grafts, on the first session as well. In fact, I did get up to kind of adjust myself because I'm kind of backtracking a little bit here. So back on the first part where they're extracting your hair, you're facing down, like your face is against a donut, and it's very uncomfortable. Yeah, the position's a little bit uncomfortable, not because of the head or the neck, but mostly because, for me at least, my shoulder was being pressed against by the weird shaped chair, and it was just really tiring for my shoulder. I had to readjust sometimes, and I got up to use the bathroom a few times, and getting up, I was really lightheaded. In fact, the technician who escorted me to the bathroom, she yeah, I mean, I kind of guided me as if she knew I was going to be kind of woozy, not sure if I had my balance right, but I got through it. I got to the bathroom multiple times. But okay, so going back to after the implants, same sensation. I feel like not as much, maybe. Maybe I just got used to the weird coordination balance type thing. But yeah, I was walking around just fine. Just a little bit lightheaded. From there, Dr. Hernandez advised me on post-op care, right? So also gave me a bunch of drugs. What are they? Look, these are all like brand names. I don't know what these brand names are, but if I can recall, anti-inflammatory, painkiller, and I can't remember the other one. I'll make a follow-up video. And I'll explain the drugs more in detail. What else? My instructions to sleep was use at least 3 pillows. The idea is to be upright. My head needs to be upright. It was important that I didn't bend my head over, okay? They made that clear at the clinic because, I was like trying to put on my pants, putting on my shoes and stuff, and they made it really clear I shouldn't be bending down, right? So you always keep the head up because they didn't want, supposedly, if pressure builds up, blood can start coming out faster or something, right? Which is plausible. It sounds plausible to me. I think it's extreme, but it's plausible. Just preventative care that they tell their clients, I guess. But yeah, I mean, I've been doing that, keeping my head up. And as far as sleeping, like I said, 3 pillows. Hopefully I don't, roll around in my sleep. I got some weird gauze padding thing to put on my pillow because, the site where they extracted the follicles, there's a chance it could bleed, right? In fact, the gauze, it's still here. I'm a little bit afraid to pull it off. I might do it in the shower, to be honest. So they gave me specific shower instructions as well. Baby shampoo, and there's actually a lot more steps to that. It's not just using baby shampoo, but like I said, I'll make another video talking about post-care for week 1. So also they gave me this cool hat. They gave me 2 more, so I guess I'm instructed to use it for the next 3 days. Yeah, and some saline solution that I'm supposed to be spraying every hour, which I have not yet. I'll do it once before I go to bed. Okay, it's actually super late. I'm about to go to bed here. But I'll definitely spray this right before I go to bed. And then starting tomorrow, I'm going to do, every hour like they instructed. And I think that's it. As far as how I feel, like I said, during procedure, nervous, tense, I was sweating bullets even though it was cold as heck in that room, and I was constantly temperature cycling, like it would be too hot or too cold, too hot, too cold, right? Because the technician gave me this big ass blanket, but then, I'd get nervous, and then I start sweating, right? And it's too damn hot. I gotta cool off, gotta ventilate, right? So I pull off, the blanket, but then it gets too cold, right? So, but yeah, I'm glad it was over. When it was over, I was like, oh man, thank God. It was like a huge sense of relief. And tonight they hooked me up with a room in the Marriott. This is a brand new Marriott. I don't know when you're gonna be watching this video, but I'm assuming it won't be as new then. Yeah, I mean, right now I feel pretty good. I had a chance to learn a little bit about Tijuana as well, and I'll make another video for that. I don't want to make this too long. Yeah, so here I am at this hotel, feeling pretty good. Still a little bit lightheaded. My forehead is still a little swollen. It's supposed to swell later on, right? I don't think it's swollen yet, but it's like numb from the local anesthesia. And same with the back. The back of my head is really numb, right? I guess they put a shit ton in the back of my head. Yeah, still numb, a little bit lightheaded, but I expect that to go away tomorrow. Actually, I don't. I don't expect that to go away tomorrow. But yeah, I'm assuming by next week I should be relatively fine. And I do want to do a quick reveal here. Let's see if I can do this here. Okay, unraveling. Oh, God. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, looking pretty slick. So really they just filled in where my temple areas were. Yeah, so my original thought process was, they can fill in the middle island area as well. But apparently they cannot, they weren't able to really do that because they're afraid, if you start sticking in grafts, it's going to damage the existing hair, and supposedly I still had like decent hair there. And I mean, they stuck in a few grafts where there was enough space, but yeah, I mean, this is the result right here, and you probably can't see it that well with the sliding. Let me reposition myself. Yeah. Hopefully that lighting is decent. Yeah. So yeah, like I said, I did think, I was originally assuming the line was going to be a little bit lower based on the line we drew, but that's fine. I'm pretty satisfied. Yeah, we'll see how this grows, and I'm really excited. Right. Oh, one thing I wanted to share was when Dr. Hernandez was cutting my hair early on, I have not had a buzz cut in so long in my life, that after she cut it, like, it really revealed like how much hair I was losing around the temples, right? How bad it was receding. I just never noticed that, right? I guess I kind of had an idea because I always kind of wore my hair a little bit longer. So yeah, it was just a bit of a surprise. Yeah, I was like, yeah, I'm a lot more bald than I thought it was. Yeah. So anyways, yeah, there's gonna be more videos upcoming. Hope to document every step along the way, details in between. my thoughts and feelings along the process, and hopefully people get value out of this. And this is a fun thing for me as well, because a year from now, assuming the hair grows out well, I can go back watching the videos and be like, oh wow, here's me from day one, right? So anyways, it's late. I'm gonna go to bed. I'm freaking exhausted. I might go grab some food first. Food is super cheap here in Tijuana. I bought a whole thing of fruits for $1 something, and there were like 5 fruits in there. Yeah, so it was like 27 pesos. It's like a little bit over $1. It's nuts. Anyways, yeah, I'm gonna end my day here, and talk to you soon. Peace.